Hey, this is Conrad, K5XVW. I'm in the backyard on a beautiful central Texas day, and I am setting up an amateur radio APRS, or automatic position reporting system, using the Argent data system's Tracker4 and my Yaesu FT60R handy talkie. I'm not going to go too far into what APRS does. If there's something that you see or would like to ask questions about, let me know, and I'll create an additional video. So let's take a look at the APRS Tracker4 from Argent Data Systems. So starting on the right side, you have two indicator lights. One really is power and GPS connectivity activity. Also, when beaconing, that light will activate. Transmit receive really is dedicated to RF. The RS-232 connector to the left is for connecting to weather systems, and then there's a terminal block there to the left of that if you have a weather system that has sensor output over wire that you can connect old school that way. On the back side, on the left, is really just the power. They include a power adapter. You can also power the unit over USB. This is 802.11bgn, and so you can use it as an access point to connect directly to in the field. What I'm using it to do is connect to my home Wi-Fi, and then a radio DB9 connection that goes to my handy talkie, and this uses just a standard cable connection, and then a GPS antenna connector there on the right hand side. Alrighty, here's how I have it connected up. I didn't mention that the Tracker4 comes with a very nice high quality GPS antenna, and that's quite lengthy, so you can place that any place that you need. And then I have the adapter cable going to my FT60R handy talkie, and so that includes the receive and transmit. Underneath here, the USB cable connected, because I wanted to demonstrate to you the console activity. And then obviously it came with an antenna, Wi-Fi antenna, so I have that up there and connected, and then the DC connection right there on the backside. That's pretty much it. It's all in one, and the party is on the software side, so let's take a look. So the Tracker4 has its own web server that you can connect to. Currently the Tracker4 is connected to my home Wi-Fi. If I took it out into the field, Tracker4 automatically would create its own Wi-Fi network, and under the Wi-Fi menu I would select Tracker4. When you pull it out of the box, your call sign is not configured, so before anything can turn on, you have to go to the tracker panel here. I'll zoom in just a little bit, and I've configured my call sign right here, K5XVW-1. I assume I'll have several additional APRS stations, so -1, -2, -3. And you don't have to do any other settings in this panel. You can just set that and save it. You're good to go. For my purpose, I've updated the comment there so that people can find my contact information. And the other thing I did was configure my symbol that will appear on APRS.fi, and I'll show that in a moment. On each of these panes, when you're done setting up your settings, click Save, and then move on to the next panel. So obviously you'll be able to enable the tracker after you've configured your call sign, and you'll turn that on. If I go over to my radio, I have to enable the press to talk signal, and so that was off by default. Let's save that. And notice here that the Vox squelch mode means that I need to set squelch on my HT such that there is full quiet in between the beacons, and again I'll save that. So let's move over to network, and this is kind of where you configure your home settings. Here in the network settings, I am defining a couple things. First of all, out of the box, the Wi-Fi is automatically enabled to create its own network. And it'll do that sort of like your hotel guest Wi-Fi, where if you connect directly to it, it'll redirect you to this portal page. So there really is not much to do in the way of configuration, unless you have some known networks that you want to define. You can define up to 4 by network name and then the password. It will automatically sense the type of network to connect to, and then it will use that information. If it's unable to connect, it will back off and create its own network, and then you can choose to either create a Wi-Fi network to connect directly to, or as an access point if you have several folks that want to share a Wi-Fi connection, which might be handy in the field. The network name can be defined here as Tracker4 by default, but you can add your call sign or any other additional information you want to there. And other than that, it's unprotected, so there's no password needed for the network or for connecting directly to the Tracker4, and you may want to add passwords there for additional security. Tracker4 includes 20 megabytes of internal storage, and you can use Telnet to connect directly to that. In this case, I have that enabled, but I'll probably turn that off. Here's a view of the storage internal to the Tracker4. Again, about 20 megabytes in size, and you can save files there. I wanted to just, before I leave here and talk about the serial connection, there are a few things missing from the web interface. One is messaging, so you don't have the ability to view or send messages from the web interface. And the other thing that's missing is a rudimentary map. Some of these features are available, however, via the serial interface, and we'll look at that next. So I'm taking a look right now at the serial app that I have to connect to the tracker. You can use any serial application or interface you want to, but it starts out as being disconnected, and when you connect to it, it'll say connected. Right now in the top right you'll see disconnected. And as the Tracker4 connection is coming up, it'll give you some real basic information about the current status. Notice that the command prompt is command, and you can type the word help to get a list of available commands. And I've typed in help here and kind of show you all the different options that you have in setting up the tracker, and they're all self-explanatory by and large. You can check your network using the netstat command and see what current activity is occurring by just monitoring the serial connection. Your different beacons that will be received will show up on the screen here as they're coming in. And I'll just kind of scroll down and get to another point. You'll also see your own beacons as they're being sent out. You'll see K5XVW1. Those are my beacons being sent out. If there is a problem connecting to the internet, you'll see disconnected, and as it's reconnecting, you'll see connected. Now, there are a number of different reasons why that might happen. Let me kind of zoom out and show you what that may be. So the APRS backend is a server farm, essentially, that supports messages to and from APRS.FI, and those servers may go offline. So you can check APRS2.net to see what the current status is. So I've kind of highlighted my station here that I have been sending out over the internet. You can see the message that I have here. If anybody wants to go to QRZ to contact me, they can find me there. And that is essentially the custom icon that I set from the symbol field and all the other stations that I've received communication from here. So if you'd like to look me up online, aprs.fi or qrz.com will be my contact information. But like I said, if there's something that you see or would like to ask questions about, let me know, and I'll create an additional video. I do plan a second part because my goal with this system is to set it up independently functioning in the backyard, and then I will have a mobile system in a couple of my vehicles so I can communicate back home and relay messages back and forth, that sort of thing. So look for a part 2 for the setup of the independent functioning station and vehicle setup.